Hello everyone, a very good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all. Myself Vaibhav. I hope you are having a fabulous day as we get started for the new session on the JForex indicators. In this series, we are going to consider various indicators available on the JForex platform one by one. And today it's the turn of simple moving average SMA. I think many of you might have used it earlier also. It is a common indicator and it is available on most of the trading platforms. We will consider how we can customize this particular indicator to our advantage. We will see the JForex tools and options provided to us where we can get this indicator customized as per our requirement to look for the trading opportunities with the trend. We can look for the deviation also. So there are multiple uses, the ways in which you can look at the market. So it's always a good idea to get yourself acquainted with the indicator and the platform. This is the JForex platform, and as you can see, it is where the excellence overwhelms. So now let us head to the JForex platform itself. This is the demo account on the JForex platform. It's taking a little bit time, and I think that's not the problem of the JForex. It is probably problem with the system on my computer. Okay, let's wait for a few seconds more. And in this session, we will be looking at these properties of the SMA. SMA is, as the name suggests, it is the moving average, the average price calculated by adding the price of the underlying instrument over the given period of time and then dividing it by the number of periods. So suppose if you are calculating the average price of the euro USD for last 10 hours, then all you have to do is add its closing price over last 10 hours and then divide it by 10. You can customize it as per your preference. So if you want to find out the difference, the average price of the high values, then you simply have to take the high of these candles of the hourly time frame and then add the 10 hours data and divide it by 10 and you get the average price. And the beauty of the platform is you don't have to do it manually. All you have to do is look for the indicators option and there you can add it from this option, and there you will see that you have various customization options provided to you. And let us do a quick search of the SMA. So here it is, simple moving average. I have plotted it on the 100 candle periods of the hourly time frame. And let us look into the details. We will consider the various editing options provided by the platform. So this is the SMA calculated for the 100 candle periods with the hourly time frame, and the value, the price that is being considered is the closing price. And here you get all these kind of options where you can change the applied price and you will see the plotting changes. I will reduce it to the lower time frame, so you will see the differences of these applied prices will be more pronounced. Okay, so now this is the 14 hours data, and we have the estimate, the simple moving average price moving lower and lower as we have the underlying instrument of the euro USD trending downward. Earlier in the week till yesterday, we had this bullish momentum, and then it stabilized closer to this, where the SMA moved almost horizontal, and then we had this decline. And we get a good idea of where the trend is, whether it is bearish or bullish. Now you can simply look at the SMA and figure out that the trend is bearish, even if there is some pullback in the price. The eventual course of action for the Euro USD is more likely to be a move, a pronounced move on the lower side. Of course, it is not a certain thing. You can always see deviations happening, changes happening. The trend also changes from bullish to bearish. So we have to consider it the probable thing. We can't really be sure 100%, and nothing is sure in 100% in the markets. That's the only thing you can sure about. So keeping all these factors in mind, we just have to figure out the optimum way to utilize this particular indicator to our advantage. And for that, I think if we see that the closing value is happening below the SMA price, then I think that can also be a good idea to look for the short sale entries. And if the closing prices has been able to sustain above this SMA, then that is a good price. I think after a crossover to look for to initiate the buy trade. So that's one of the way to look at it. You can figure out ways, and there are always multiple ways and millions of ways you can interpret the data. So I'm not looking at the exhaustive ideas here. I'm simply giving you one of the suggestion. And some people they also use the crossover formation where we take different SMAs and then we look for one lower time frame and one larger time frame SMA. And whenever there is a crossover of lower price SMA moving higher or lower, then we can consider it as a signal of the trend change for the underlying instrument. So that possibility is also there. So now let us look at the customization options provided to us. So we have this applied price uh, option, and now the SMA is being calculated on the closing price. Suppose if I change it to open price, you can see the line has shifted somewhat. High price, it has shifted on the higher side. Low price, it will shift on the lower side. We get the simple moving average price depending on this applied price. So this is the simple moving average of the low price. Earlier we were considering the simple moving average of the closing price. Then we also considered the simple moving average of the high price. So all these possibilities are there. Then we can also consider the median price, and median price, as you can figure out, it is the high and low price added and then divided by 2, so we get the median price, which will be in between the high point and the low point for a given particular candle period, and we add it over the given time horizon for this SMA calculation. Now that we are considering the 14 hours data, so we will add the median price of last 14 hours and then divide it by 14. So we get this SMA of the median price. Then we have the typical price SMA formation, and typical price is simply the price derived by adding the high price, the low price, and the closing price for the last hourly candle, and then dividing it by 3. So we get a typical price for the underlying instrument, the underlying security, and then we can plot the SMA using that. We also have this weighted close price of the underlying instrument, and here we get this high low, and the closing price is added twice and then divided by 4. So we have this sum and then we get this division done by 4 to look at the weighted closing price. So we have more weight provided to the closing price, and that's how these SMA is calculated. So depending on what kind of average price you are using, closing price, high price, low price, median price, typical price, weighted close price. So depending on that, your SMA formation will be different, and then you can look for to initiate the trade. One of the favorite way I personally use these SMA is to get this SMA high and SMA low plotted at the same time, so we get a price band. So let us do that thing also. Just for example, I will show you how interesting it can get. So let us do a quick search SMA, and here it comes. Now it is the SMA of the high price, and I will change it to low price, and we have here price band plotted to us, so we can get a good idea of, suppose if you are looking to initiate the buy trade with the underlying trend being bullish, then I think it will be a good idea to look to initiate the trade closer to these low price of the SMA. And if you are in trying to initiate a sell trade with the bearish momentum, then it will be a good idea to look to initiate the sell trade closer to these high price. So we have these options. This is one of the way I personally use these formation of the SMA to see what is the price band doing, whether it is rising or it is declining, and then you get a good idea. If the momentum is bullish, then you can figure out what is the optimum price which is likely to lower your risk, and then you can try to increase your risk reward ratio also. Suppose if you are buying closer to the lowest average price, then you will of course have a good price, good probability of ending the trade on a profitable note, as if simply there is a pullback and not much of a move. Even in that scenario, if the price simply reverts back to the simple moving average of the high price, then also you will be in position to make money, you will be profitable even in that scenario. So we have these option provided to us by this platform, where we can simply choose the indicator and then customize it as per our requirement, and we get all kind of options provided to us. Now let us look at what are the other options provided to us. So we have this output. So if you are a person who likes to play around with colors and design and all, then you can take this trend up, trend down, color combination. You can change it. Suppose if you want to distinguish the trend as soon as it changes, then you can even go for two different combinations. The plotting will be different. Now it is not much distinguishable. We have light sky blue color for bearish momentum and white plotting for the uptrend. Let me change it to more pronounced color, and then you will be able to easily distinguish what's happening on the charting. Let us go for yellow. Okay, and here the yellow line is indicative of the bullishness, and the pale sky blue line is for bearishness. And you will see whenever there is change in the momentum on the SMA, the plotting changes, we have the color defined, and it makes us easier for to distinguish the momentum. And whenever the change happens, you will see the color combination changing, so it makes it easier to plot the to identify the trend change. Now let us also consider some other options provided to us. You can change the plotting style. You can go for a straight line, plain line here, or you can go for whatever idea, whatever style catches your fancy. It's up to you. You can increase the weight, and I think we have the option to go for the width with 5 units and the smallest being 1. So you have a very faint line, and if you go for the highest width provided to us, then you have a very thick line plotted on this chart, and this is something you can't really miss. Okay, now again let us consider what are other options. Transparency, opaque, 10%, 20%, 70%. Okay, so here we have this line drawn with faint color. So the color combination is quite faint. You won't see it more pronounced. So you can, if you want to keep it easier on your eyes, you have all these kinds of options. So now this is looking like a ghost. We have this line, but it is plotted very faintly. So you have these values and not much changes. So all these interesting parameters have been provided to us to play around and go with whatever suits our purpose or whatever catches your fancy. So that's how this system works. We have the level options. No, there are no options on the level side. Then you get these four options to calculate on the new candle only. So when new candle will arrive, the plotting will be done. If there is no new candle, till then the plotting will stop. So you will have the plotting done with the prior candle only. Highlight the time period zone, you can do that. Even I haven't used this highlight the time period zone option much. So okay, calculate from the custom data. You can customize the plotting instrument you can choose. Suppose if you want to look for doing the comparison, you can do that. Use from the chart, or you can even go for let us try out one interesting combination. I will use it the instrument Euro USD, and let us change this to another instrument. Let us try with AUD USD, and I think the SMA is still of probably it is of AUD USD, so I'm not really seeing it. What happened to our customization? Let us check it once. Advanced. Oh, calculate from the custom data. Okay. Oh, there is now the option is of AUD USD. So I think whenever we change the instrument, this will change. So we can't really do that. But the use from chart option of the candle period can be changed. Suppose if you want to have the average calculated only on the hourly time frame, even if you are looking at the price charting with a different time frame, you can do that as well. And whenever you are using the shorter time period, you can do this customization of getting the plotting with the custom period end or custom period start or the period middle. So all these options are there. And side bid or ask, you will have two different SMAs calculated depending on the spread side. If you are using for the ask, then the plotting will be a bit on the higher side after incorporating the spread of the underlying instrument, and if you are using bid, then it will be on the lower side. So all these changes matter, all these customization matters. Now I have done it for the hourly time frame. Oh, what happened? It is not responding, so it's taking a bit of time. Okay, we give it some time and then we come back. Use from the chart, show indicator on all periods. Okay, now the plotting was on the hourly candle period and I will change it to 15 minutes. But still you will see the SMA that is plotted is of the hourly candle period only. Here you can see H1, SMA, H1. H1 is for 1 hour and the calculated data is for 14 hourly candles. So we have this plotting as per the hourly time frame, and it is very faint as we had chosen that customization option. Let me darken it a bit. Okay, so we change the transparency to say 30%. And here we have it. All right, the color combination and all these things. So that's how these platforms indicator of the SMA works, and it's very interesting to work around, to play around with this indicator, and to then figure out what is the best way to go for the entry in a particular direction. If the momentum is bullish, of course, I would advise to look for the buy trades. If the momentum is bearish, then it is more advisable to look for the sell trades. And if the sideways, then you should simply buy low, sell high, and it is always easier said than done. So that is one thing we always have to keep in mind. So guys, that's it from my side for today's session. I hope you had fun with me while looking at this SMA formation, the uses of the SMA, and how we can customize it as per our requirement on this JForex platform. So that's it for the day. And for further developments of the market coverage, you can check out the Dukascopy Analytics page. We are also available on the Facebook. You can reach out to us there too. For using the JForex platform, all these links have been provided in the bio. So thank you all for joining in. If there is any query or any idea to share, you can write to me in the feedback section, and I would be more than happy to take the discussion forward. See you next time tomorrow at